Hi, did you know that most people learn through their eyes? Yes, most of us are visual learners. And if we don't take that into account, we are not impacting our audiences as well as we could do it. My name is Max Quiroz from Max and Ruth Training, and I welcome you to this video. And today we're going to talk about how we can create and transmit a visual message for our audience, taking into consideration some key elements. If you haven't done so, please click on the button that you see on your screen and subscribe to our channel so that you are notified whenever we upload new videos. Also, if you want to learn more about how we can help you, go to our website that you see on screen. It's maxandroottraining.com, and you can program a free discovery call so that we can show you how to integrate different aspects in order that you can create life-changing courses for your participants. Now, let's start talking about how we can transmit a visual message with these key elements. The first one that we can use is we must clarify what our content is going to be and why it is important for our audience to know it, and how we can transmit that content visually for them. Now that we know that most people are visual learners, then we can create visual messages for our participants. And whenever we create this visual message, there's 3 questions that can guide us in this process. First, why is this content important for the participants? Second, what of this content must they know, must they learn? And finally, who is it that needs this content? All those 3 questions together are very powerful because they will help us clarify our message, know exactly who we are going to target with our message, and how we can find the best images or the best way of crafting a visual message for our audience. That's element number 1. How can you clarify your content and turn it into a visual message? It's also important to select a typeface or font that is adequate to transmit a message. Fonts and typefaces transmit feelings, emotions, and many things, and we must select the best font that really transmits our message. And there's different options, but first we have to know that basically there's 3 different types of fonts. First are the serif fonts, and those are the fonts like letter T that you see in this image, or the letter S that you see on the left, that have what some people call skids on the bottom and at the top of the letters. Those skids are those little lines that you can see on the bottom. Times New Roman is an example of a serif font. And then there's sans serif fonts. Those are the letters without skids, as the letter A that you see in this image. They're more rounded, easier on the eye. And finally, there's the fancy fonts, or those are the decorative fonts that you can use. The important thing is that many people say that sans serif fonts are easier on the eye and will help you learn better. And also that fancy fonts should be used with caution. Don't overdo the use of fancy fonts whenever you're designing your material, your visual material, your documents, because people tend to get distracted and sometimes they're difficult to read. So, and the rule of thumb here is select 2 fonts, a pair of fonts, and use only 2 fonts in your documents and your visual materials so that you keep a harmonious and constant look on your materials. It shouldn't look like a catalog of type fonts or typefaces. There's a great tool, it's called fontjoy.com, which you can use to define pairs of fonts that you can use together based on one of the fonts that you want to use. For example, if I would like to use Arial or Century Bold or whatever typeface you want to use, you input that and then you select, and the site gives you other fonts that work well with the one that you have selected. And so that's a good way to define adequate font pairs that you can use. It's very important. I cannot overemphasize the use of color. Colors transmit different emotions and feelings, and you can see that in the different companies' logos. I'm sorry. And have you ever thought why all fast food restaurants use red, yellow, orange colors, and why hospitals are always painted in green, light blue, calming colors or cool colors? And the science behind that is the psychology of color. And we have to be very careful when we decide what colors to use in our visual materials, in all our materials, so that we can transmit feelings and emotions through our colors, and those colors support our message, our visual message. There's two tools that I would suggest that you could use. One of them is called coolors.co, and at coolors.co you will find a very simple system to create your color palette or color scheme. And the other one is Chroma with a K and an H, as you can see in the text that's in your screen right now. And Chroma allows you to define favorite colors, and based on that, it will provide you with different color schemes or color palettes that you can use in your visual aids or in all your teaching materials or learning materials. So don't underestimate the power of colors. It's very important that you use colors to transmit your visual message. Another thing that it's important is the use of icons. And the human brain processes images 60,000 times faster than text. And there's different icons that are universal to all people. So if you can use them, you can empower your visual message. Use icons. And whenever you're deciding what icons you should use, make sure that they have the same style, the same colors, so that they are all uniform and constant throughout your materials. But icons can really enrich your visual message, and they transmit lots of things like music, emotions, stop, different things and messages that can be transmitted faster and in an easier way than with text. So take advantage of those icons and include them in your materials. As the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I think that we can say the same about numbers. A picture is worth 1,000 numbers. And yes, we can turn our numbers and our text into charts, different types of charts, so that we can show or demonstrate change through time, distributions, different things that we can always translate numbers into charts. And we can really make it easier for our audience to understand our concept. And that reminds me one time when Ruth had a boss a long time ago that was not very text-oriented or number-oriented, and she would go to him with different data and information, and he couldn't grasp it. One time she thought, what if I show him a chart? And when she did, her boss caught it instantly, and she learned at that moment that his boss was a visual learner, and he needed to see things in a visual manner. So that's the power. If we know that most of us are visual learners, Why keep using numbers and text? Turn those numbers and text into charts, graphs, and everything, and your audience will thank you for that. I'm sure you will have a great impact. Finally, one of the things that we should take care is selecting the best image for our materials. And how do we do that? First, we must write all the content that we want to transmit in our visual message, find keywords that identify that content, and with those keywords, we can then go look on the internet for the images that are best suited to transmit those keywords. And now, here I must emphasize, please be careful that your image is culturally, society, community acceptable, that it doesn't infringe on copyrights. Please always use royalty-free images in your presentations so that you don't have a legal problem later on. And there's different sources for you to find those images. For example, there's unsplash.com, Pexels, Canva. Those are great sources of content where you can find images that are of free use, that you use freely on your presentations and materials, so that you don't infringe on copyright issues. So select the best image and use it correctly. And finally, you can integrate everything with a powerful structure. And this reminds me of bells. Whenever I talk about this, I always think about bells, because the structure of a successful presentation or session, live session or training session, follows this bell-shaped curve where you can transmit, and this is a structure that all successful movies and books and all those things follow. Introduction, then it starts building up until you reach a climax, and from that climax it starts going down until you can close or conclude that session, or the end of that movie or the end of that novel. So these are some elements that you can use to transmit a very powerful visual image. We really hope that this is helpful for you. If you want to learn more, please visit the site that you see on your screen or contact us through email, and you can program a free discovery call where we can talk about how we can help you and how we can help you design and deliver life-changing courses for your students or participants. Hope this is helpful for you, and see you in the next video. Have a great day.